my Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee collection. I have the Bruce Lee Ultimate Collection with 4 of his 5 main films, or the 5 big films that he's known for. He was a child actor. There's a lot of films he was in that are hard to get. And he was in The Green Hornet, which, as far as I know, has not been ever put on DVD. So it's hard to get that. But this is a collection of the movies that he was best known for. The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, Way of the Dragon, Game of Death. Game of Death 2 is not a Bruce Lee movie, but it is, in my opinion, it's a good movie. Game of Death, he only filmed one scene, and it was a fight scene, and then he passed away. That scene is later on in the movie, but to replace Bruce Lee's character, well, to fill in the spots that would have been Bruce Lee, they got a somewhat Bruce Lee look-alike to finish the film. And he also plays the main star in Game of Death 2. Game of Death is not, in my opinion, is probably the worst of this whole collection. I like Game of Death 2 way more, just as its own movie. So that's the Master, well, the Ultimate Collection. There is the original DVD set that was the Master Collection, all black cases, which back in the day we had the VHS box set of that. But these movies are constantly being reprinted by different companies, and in July they're remastering these and putting them back out on a Criterion Blu-ray set, including it includes these 5 films. Even Game of Death 2 is like a bonus film, but Enter the Dragon is also going to be in that set, so I look forward to that. And there's Enter the Dragon. It's a worn down case, but this is the original, like the Warner Brothers snap case. So this is an original DVD. For years I considered maybe getting an updated version of it, but I like this and I'm satisfied with this. So maybe I'll wait, and if I can afford the $90 or close to $100 for that set, maybe I'll get that this summer, and then I'll have another version of this. I will continue to keep these because these have been a part of my, the way I've seen these films was on VHS, but the DVDs have been here for so long that I like the aspect of keeping what I've known for a long period of time, such as this Jackie Chan / Bruce Lee double feature, which was one of my first DVDs ever. Although I have both of these in different sets, I decided to keep this because of the edition. It's got a little like trivia thing and a cartoon. It's supposed to be kind of like a drive-in sort of feature, but I like it, and it reminds me of back in like early 2000s, 2001, 2002, when I got into these hardcore, into the martial arts. But that's why I keep this copy, because this is, this is one of the first DVDs I had. Just looking at it, and even the fact that I could put it in and watch those cartoons and see the menu, it reminds me of certain memories and good memories and stuff. So that's why I keep multiple copies. Plus I'm a collector, and I like to, maybe sounds greedy, but I like to have the most of something. So as far as Jackie Chan, there's a lot of duplicates I have for various reasons. Mostly Jackie Chan, because his movies, as well as some Jet Li movies, have been released in America and in China, and even in Japan. There's several versions of each of their movies, have different edits and different features. Some are remastered, some aren't. So I'm in the process of trying to garner all those into my collection, and maybe someday do another video with a complete collection. That's a lot of money and a long way down the road, but I'm slowly getting there. I've been collecting for since 2000, I started with VHS. Twin Dragons, actually. It was Twin Dragons and Jet Li's Romeo Must Die, actually. Those were the movies that I remember first getting for Jet Li and Jackie Chan. So, 20 years. I hope it doesn't take me another 20 years. Who knows what 20 years from now will be like. I don't like to think that far ahead, because it makes me underappreciate what I'm doing now and how I'm living. But another DVD set, the Real Bruce Lee collection, pretty much marketed to sell. It's a cheap collection of films. Bruce Lee sells this, although only thing really Bruce Lee is the Real Bruce Lee, which is a documentary film that was released, I think, maybe theatrically in the late 70s or early 80s. The rest are just kind of Bruce Lee lookalikes, the Bruce-ploitation films, as they say. Screaming Ninja I grew up with, so I've seen that, but the other three I have not. And I bought this for $2 on Black Friday a couple years back. I thought, even for $2, if I don't have one of those, it was only $2, and I might as well get it. It's kind of another extra edition. I really like holding the physical media and the different collections and stuff. Another cheaper version of a movie, Rumble in Hong Kong, originally titled, I think, Policewoman. This is the one where Jackie Chan is a thug, a villain. It takes place in the 70s when it was filmed. And he's not in much of the movie, but he is one of the few times that he plays a villain. And the movie itself is okay. I wish that we could get a cleaned up copy of it with the original Cantonese, or I think it's a Cantonese language track. A lot of these movies up here in this tin, for instance, are those uncleaned up, a lot of undermined movies, such as Fantasy Mission Force, which I like all these. Master with Cracked Fingers, that's a good movie, and that should have been remastered with, or at least released when Drunken Master and Fearless Hyena were all released, because to me that fits in with those. And Eagle Shadow Fist, he was younger in that. Fire Dragon and the Young Tiger. Now, Fire Dragon is more of scenes from Fantasy Mission Force with very few scenes shot in addition and composed together to make that movie. And the extra scenes that were shot were featuring two actors that, as far as I know, weren't even in Fantasy Mission Force. It's just extra footage they felt like pumping out an extra movie to get a little bit of money out of. So really, Jackie Chan's not in that unless you consider it Fantasy Mission Force. It's a different cut. The Young Tiger is that's the alternate title for Rumble in Hong Kong. Also Policewoman, I believe, or the heroine, meaning kind of like the hero, the female hero, the heroine. So none of these pictures are from any of these. These are pictures to sell the tin, the collection, because these are famous photos from famous big budget, more successful Jackie Chan films, like Jackie Chan's First Strike, Legend of Drunken Master, and Project A2. I do like this set though, because it comes with features and a few trailers, a few snippets, and some biography info on some of the actors, including Jackie Chan. And but I like the tin as a collector's item. So, oh yeah, I have Fist of Fear, Touch of Death. I kept that in there years ago, and it's very thin. It was $1. And it just fits perfectly in there. So, and I also have that up here. That's the double feature, Master with Cracked Fingers. Funny enough, they're both together here, and they're both right here. But this is a good set. A lot of people disregard these films as good, but I think that they were cleaned up and given the attention and maybe a commentary by some film experts or people that worked on the films, something, they would have been more successful and more liked. Fantasy Mission Force, at least these photos that are in the background of Jackie Chan are from these films. On the back of the tin, not so much. All these photos are cool, but they're not from any of these movies. Eagle Shadow Fist takes place during like World War II. Fire Dragon, that's the one that's comprised of Fantasy Mission Force footage. And there's Jackie Chan in The Young Tiger. He has a mole in that film. That's what stands out. But he's a like a gangster in that, a villain. I like that movie. But that's the set. It's it's well made. At least they gave it some love, because that's about as good as it got. I do have this other tin, which was a gift after I got that, but I like this tin is different, so I keep it as well. Now the only one that's not on here is Master with Cracked Fingers, but Fire Dragon, I don't know why they included that one. That's the one that's not really even a movie, but whatever. I have several copies of Master with Cracked Fingers, and then I found this, got it for free basically at a library sale. I thought, why not just throw it in there? And again, it's all the same movies, so I have multiple copies. It's always good to have multiple copies of stuff. Yeah. If you're actually interested in, collecting. But, yeah, these come in a kind of like a double feature individual disc thing. Yeah, it's just a more of a double feature times 2. Oh yeah, these are my the one and only version of this. I always liked how cool that was, so I kept a couple of these. I always drank this tea I had years ago. I drank it when I watched these movies, all in like a weekend or something, and I just kept all of them. Kind of as another reminder how good, these movies are to me, and a lot of memories with them. 36 Crazy Fists. Just like the other 10, I kept the Fist of Fear, Touch of Death. I keep this in here because this is a $1 DVD. It's thin. Jackie Chan worked on the movie, from what I understand, not very long. Maybe some fight choreography. But that's a photo from Battle Creek Brawl. But that's how they sold the movie. So if this was cleaned up and in the original language, I think people would like it more too. But that's another one of those more public domain films, like all these are. Sort of the Jackie Chan public domain films. And here's the other version, non-jasmine green tea, but just regular green tea. And another disc with a photo from, if I believe it to be right, that's Drunken Master. But that's how they sell the movies. Which true fans, like myself and whoever sees this, you might be a true fan, you would have bought this anyway. I just wish that we could preserve the film itself instead of trying to cover it up with stuff like this. This is Jackie Chan. People are going to like it or they're not. And people are less likely to buy these if you keep ripping them off. So don't lie to them and say it's one thing if it's not. But at least these are Jackie Chan movies. The Bruce Lee's films like this are famous for not having Bruce Lee in them. It's more of a Bruce Lee related or something with Bruce Lee documentary, and that's how they get away with that. I keep these on the top shelf because I built this shelf, and somehow this is just a little bit wider, and these barely fit on. They don't fit on any of the shelves, so they barely fit on that, but it was meant to be. Here's my Arnold collection, and it ends here. And then my Jackie Chan collection. And I have a lot of duplicates. But, like I said, there's a reason for that. Okay, so, The Invincible Fighter. This is like a Chinese documentary. It was released in China. I'm not sure what year exactly. On the back it says 96. I think that might be when it was released on video over in America here. This is just a reprinted case, kinda. But it's good. It's based on most of his work up through the 70s and maybe the early 80s. I think that's when it came out. That covers that much. I've seen it several times, and I've seen this several times. It's Jackie Chan, who is he, is a documentary more from the 80s on, and a little bit about, I guess, the 70s and him growing up. There's him and Stallone. There's a lot of archive footage with interviews with Jackie, and I think this includes part of the My Stunts or My Story DVD, which is very hard to get. I think it's out of print, and I can't even find a used copy, let alone one that's even expensive, even if I could find it. But I got that, and it shows snippets of that. So here's another one of those. I got it. I think my mom got me this, thinking that maybe I didn't have this. It was only $3, which I did have these 3, but I have an extra copy for in the future. Again, the pictures don't go to the movies that they're next to. Well, The Young Master, that's a photo from The Young Master, but the other 2 are not. But that's an extra copy. Triple Punch collection. Getting into his, when he was doing movie after movie, and it was all, they filmed a lot of these in the same locations multiple times. They would be on the same set, and they'd just move from movie to movie. The Killer Meteors, he's a villain in this as well. Jimmy Wong Yu is not on the case, which is upsetting because he's a star of the movie and he's famous enough. I just wish that they would have at least given him credit, but I do like, I mean, this is a movie, it's maybe less liked because there's some fake elements to it, like I think Jackie Chan's borderline invincible, and even though he's the villain and he has to fight against Jimmy Wong Yu. But the movie overall is good, and at least he got the original language track. So that's what I appreciate about the, well, this was Columbia TriStar, I believe. I think all these were. They did about 12 of them. And some of them, though, some of them didn't get it. Some of them didn't get the releases they should have. Like New Fist of Fury is a remake of Bruce Lee's Fist of Fury. That's why it's called New Fist of Fury. But Jet Li and Donnie Yen also would do this film, and unfortunately Jackie Chan's is my least favorite because of how it was done. I think it was more, it was less likable, unfortunately, as much as we all like Jackie Chan here. And I found these for, I think, $1, yeah, at a place that's not in business anymore. Same with this. I found them both. I saw the side and saw the titles, and these were the only 2 I didn't have. It was like it was meant to be. Now these were re-released with the original language, and like these Columbia TriStar films. But yeah, I just, Half a Loaf of Kung Fu. It's a comedy. It's better than New Fist of Fury, but it's also not as good as the rest of these, which Shaolin Wooden Men, aka Young Tiger's Revenge, the original uncut version. Well, this is the one I found before I found the well, not really remastered, but the Chinese languaged American widely released version. Which these are all going for like expensive, kind of expensive. So I'm glad I got these back in the day. Most of them, when they were easy to find at Walmart. Yeah, this is a good one, but they're all good. The quality on these, however, isn't quite as cleaned up. This is like 2000, 2001, 2002. But the Japanese Blu-rays, as far as I know, most of these are not on Blu-ray in China. But the Japanese Blu-rays are cleaned up, and most of these have a Blu-ray release in Japan, only no English subtitles. I can speak some Japanese, but I do have these, and I can watch it in Chinese, watch it in English, and if I want a cleaned up version, eventually get the Japanese box sets or the individual releases, either or. And so I can watch it, but I've seen these enough that I know the dialogue to some extent, or the gist of it. And what I don't understand in Japanese, I can get through. So it's more for me, more than a lot of people wouldn't like that, because only a couple of them have English subs, which I don't understand why they all do or they all don't. But I'll take what I can get, I guess, because I appreciate the fact that they are available, and they're on Blu-ray Region A for Asia, basically, in America. Spiritual Kung Fu, one of the first ones I got. I grew to love this movie, and I used to watch it all the time. I even have a poster. Actually, the poster's not on the wall because I replaced it with this glass frame that I found last summer. Bruce Lee drawing. But I do have the poster. Can't really see it. But it's the original Chinese poster. And I ordered it when I moved in here. So I'd add more because I didn't have much wall space in my older house. And I wanted to kind of enjoy it here. And so Snake and Crane Arts of Shaolin, I actually have this on VHS. And that's how I first watched this. And this was always expensive. And then for one time I found it, and it was, I think, $10 on Amazon instead of like $25. I asked my mom if I could get it, and she ordered it for me. But that's one of the better ones of these period films he did in the 70s, the martial arts epic films. To Kill with Intrigue, I really like this film. Again, the Japanese releases of these, actually, over in Japan, they had their own soundtracks where a group of musicians and Japanese singers and composers would do their own individual like songs and some different music for their releases of these. So that's why the Japanese versions are different than the Chinese versions. So to get these on Blu-ray, well, to get them outside of America, you have to get the Blu-ray, basically, because these are harder to get, like a Chinese edition of these. So getting the Japanese Blu-ray is probably your best bet. And again, they don't have English subs. Most of them don't. There's a few I've looked up that actually do, but not many of them. It's like one or two. Dragon Fist, probably one of the top 4 best of the 70s era. It's a serious role, and this is one of my first DVDs. I never opened a DVD before, and when I did, I punctured the case. So, looking at that, I always remember, it was 20 years ago, my first DVD. But I really like that one. And this is one of my top 5 favorite Jackie Chan films of all time. Snake and Eagle Shadow. This is one of the ones that put him in big business. And then I think they filmed that and Drunken Master together, back to back. And this is the original Kung Fu comedy, Drunken Master. And this is, this one says, the film that made Jackie Chan a superstar, and this shot him to stardom right here. So these two really launched his career. Fearless Hyena. Sometimes, this is a popular title that gets talked about, but maybe not as much. I think it's a little underrated, but I really like it. It's a comedy, but it's some of the best martial arts that he did in the 70s. But I love that. I bought that when I got Dragon Fist. Those are my first 2 DVDs of ever. Again, they filmed these two back to back. They use the same locations, same music, same actors, and then it's almost the same for this. So, low budgets, fast filming. They just one to another. I got this set basically for Fearless Hyena 2, but it's got a cool case, and it's got this little info about the 3 actors here. Fearless Hyena 2, Jackie Chan. Blood Fight with Bulla Young. It's an alright movie. And The Image of Bruce Lee, which is a Bruce Lee lookalike. Bruce Lee, I believe. But it's there. It's like 70s Hong Kong. So that's cool. But the movie itself lacks a lot of... I think if they cleaned that up... I think any movie almost has the potential, if they clean it up, spruce it up, and give you the authentic, best version they can, people would like those more, and I think that it would be a better movie. But they just give us the worst copy, usually in these packs, but I still like those. I grew up with The Image of Bruce Lee. It was a VHS we had. The Young Master. This is like, I think, his directorial debut. It says he directed Fearless Hyena 1 or 2, or helped direct it. This is his first on his own kind of feature. And this is a great movie. This is one of my top 5, probably. I made a list, I'm not sure where the list is, a couple years back, where I listed my top 5 of all my actors, and this is one of the top 5 Jackie Chan films on that list. 1980, and I think this was 1980, Battle Creek Brawl. Same case as my 36 Crazy Fist has, but this is his first American film, 40 years ago, 1980, and it didn't fare very well at the box office, and Robert Klaus directed this. He also directed Enter the Dragon, and I think what the expectation was that putting them together would, 7 years after the success of Enter the Dragon, would help with shooting Jackie Chan to stardom in America, and unfortunately that didn't happen quite just yet. Actually, not for quite a few years.